It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show.
Welcome to the Dep Lewis Show, episode 115. This is your host, Dep Lewis, and today is Sunday, February 9th, 2025. A great day to podcast about video games and be alive. So I hope you're doing great out there in the world on this Super Bowl Sunday. In the United States of America, the Kansas City Chiefs are going to play the Philadelphia Eagles in the battle for it all, the Super Bowl. So that's happening later today. So hopefully it's going to be a great competitive Super Bowl. And just thank you for being here today for the Dep Lewis Show. I really do appreciate it. The first order of business is to ask you to follow Dep Lewis Show everywhere. Full episodes of Dep Lewis Show available anywhere you can find a podcast. So find the best place to subscribe and listen weekly. All the places like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, YouTube, Amazon Music, and more. Twitch.tv/DepLewisShow is a great place to follow. I have started streaming every Thursday night. I might be changing this to Wednesday, but I'm streaming once a week for sure. 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If it's not going to be on Wednesday this upcoming week, it'll be on Thursday. And I've also been streaming a little bit extra. Yesterday I streamed twice for a bunch of hours, so been having some fun doing that. But I'm going to guarantee one day a week. I kind of did change my mind yesterday. I think it's going to be Wednesday. So I don't know, but Thursday's good too. So that one's TBD. It's going to be one night a week for sure. If you'd like to support the show even further than just listening, patreon.com/DepLewisShow is available if you'd like to subscribe monthly. Also, Venmo at DepLewisShow is available any day, anytime, for any amount if you would like to support the show. So for today's show, we have 3 sections as always. The first is what video games have been playing since I've last talked to you on this microphone. The second section, which is the mid section, is not mid in quality, it's just the middle. Is what video games I've been seeing. So video game news, releases, other happenings, speculations, rumors, all sorts of things like that. And the final section of the show is the Miscellaneous Talk section, where I can talk about anything I want to outside of the video game world. So I usually get into the worldwide world of sports and tell you what's going on with my favorite teams. And today will be no exception. And we will also talk a little bit more about the Super Bowl, since that's what's going on today on this Dep Lewis Show, episode 115, Super Bowl Extravaganza Sunday episode. So, it's going to be bigger and badder and better than ever. So that's what you got to hope for today. That's what I'm going to be bringing. All right, so this first section of the show, what video games have I been playing? So I did do some streaming this week, and that helped dictate what games I was going to play. So I did some first-person shooting. Well, I did some third-person shooting, I guess. I played some Splatoon 3. There's a current Splatfest going on right now. It's still live today for listening to this podcast in real time. I believe it's 4 p.m. Pacific time that it ends today. If you want to get some more splatting in for the Splatfest that's going on. The current question of the Splatfest in Splatoon 3 is, what's your favorite chocolate? So I am on Team Dark Chocolate. The decision was made between dark and milk. White, I like white chocolate okay, but it was never in consideration for the best. It's good every once in a while in my opinion. And then dark chocolate is just a little bit more exceptional than milk chocolate. So that was my little bit of a thought there on which chocolate to represent in the current Splatfest. So I've been playing on Team Dark Chocolate. I've been having some fun. I haven't played Splatoon 3 this much in a long time. So I didn't play too much of it last year. But the 2 years prior, I was going pretty hard on the Splatoon 3. And it won Game of the Year the first year on the Dep Lewis Show. And I think that is still a very good pick, and I love this game. So it's been fun picking it back up. Been having a lot of fun with it and enjoying the Splatfest. But one of the things that's grinding my gears about this game, and is a flashback to, this has been a problem for the whole history of Splatoon 3, that it has random disconnect errors online. And I really don't think it's my internet. I think it's more of a Splatoon 3 issue. And I think during this Splatfest this weekend, it's been a little more heavy-handed on the disconnects and things like that. So a little bit troubling at some inopportune times, like getting through the whole match and then having it canceled out right at the end. So some pretty rough stuff. And I am remembering this from back in the day, that this is a common occurrence in the Splatoon 3 online functionality, that every once in a while you're just going to get a random disconnect. And I just think that's kind of it's not built into the game, but I think it's just what it's going to be. So it's a little bit unusual. This hasn't been fixed or ironed out, but who knows? And if this is just a me issue, then I apologize to Splatoon 3, but I've had this issue over the course of years, and this game came out in 2022. It's now 2025, still playing it and still having some of the same issues. So I don't know if it's pointing to Splatoon, pointing to Nintendo Switch Online services, or just pointing to me. I really think the me factor in there is pretty low, but I don't know. I just want to just throwing that out there with the Splatoon. I still love this game regardless, but it definitely is a little bit of an annoying hiccup in there playing, especially when being excited to get in there for the Splatfest and things like that. But I think I'm going to still keep playing some of this. It's been a really great game for streaming, and I'm trying to get into streaming, so it's been perfect for that. I like the short matches. I like the controls of the game. The music's fun, and I think it's pretty enjoyable to watch since there's a lot of action going on. So I've been playing some Splatoon 3. So go play the Splatfest today if you want to go contribute to one of the chocolate teams out there. And then next week I'll report back on who is the winner of the current Splatfest in Splatoon 3. So you don't want to miss it. So I've been talking about some streaming. Another game I did some streaming of was Fortnite. And I played with a couple friends last Thursday. We got on there, did some streaming. I think it was a successful stream. And I've done a couple of them since then. So I've been back on the Fortnite train a little bit, playing with some friends. And I also did some solo streaming of this yesterday. And I got in second place. I got to the very end. And I got into a sword battle, but the other guy who had his sword was invisible. He got the drop on me, on the drop or the jump, and I was a second place. So the bridesmaid, but never the bride in Fortnite. But this game, it's very fun. It's especially fun playing with friends, and it's semi-fun solo. Just, sharpening your skills in there, getting more used to some of the mechanics and the guns and the weapons and what you like to do and that kind of thing. I think it's pretty enjoyable, and I think it's probably pretty fun to watch as a stream game because at the end there, my heart was definitely beating. I was like in the top 10. I'm like, okay, I'm not worried about this. I'm feeling cool and calm and collected. I'm like, I just got to stay calm. And then you get to that top 3 and your body goes uncontrollable. Then your heart starts pounding and the ice in my veins dissipated and I became a little bit scared out there. So, but playing Fortnite is fun, and I think that's a nod to the game of how good it is in those moments especially. So Fortnite, a really fun game, and I'll probably be streaming some more of this since I'm trying to get it on a streaming schedule. I think these are going to be 2 semi-staples of things to play when I really just don't have anything else I'm super interested in playing. So that's been some Splatoon 3 and some Fortnite. And some other games I've been playing this week. I played a little bit of Pikmin 1, played some of that on stream. I started Luigi's Mansion 2, and I've also been continuing my playthrough of Spyro 1. And I think I'm more than halfway, or I'm right at the halfway mark in Spyro, so those are some other games I've been playing this week, just a little bit, but I mainly did some streaming games, and I did have a pretty good session with Pikmin on the stream and gotten further in that one than I've been. I think I'm on day 3. I got the yellow Pikmin now and doing some fun stuff there. So, having a lot of fun with the video games, and I have a lot of great games to play. So, for my gaming this year, the theme of this year is the year of no direction. So I'm going to play whatever the heck I want to. Doesn't matter what genre, doesn't matter what console, doesn't matter what type. I am free and allowed to play whatever I'd like to. So it's a year of no direction, and we're going to see how that's going to go. So the prior year was the year of the RPG, and the prior year was the year of survival horror. So this year I'm just going to focus on, it's mainly been a lot of backlog stuff or retro kind of stuff. So I think that's going to continue. I am getting a little bit tempted by a game we're going to talk about in the middle section, and maybe I'll just save that as a little bit of a teaser. I think it might be the first game of the year I want to purchase for 2025, and it's coming up in a couple weeks. So I'm a little bit on the fence there, but not sure. So, but getting close. But I've been playing a lot of stuff. I'm really into, what have I been playing? Pikmin, Luigi's Mansion, Spyro. I've been playing a lot of Spyro. I've been wanting to get into Jak and Daxter. I want to get into Sly Cooper. I've been playing some Ratchet. I got the Paper Marios going on. So those are all things that I'm going to be looking forward to completing at some point, and that I'm slowly but semi-surely working on. So I'm trying to think what else is going on with my video gaming. Nothing too much. I plan on playing some of the same stuff. I'm going to get the streaming schedule going. Probably play some of these shooters on the stream, and then maybe get into some type of single player thing. I need out there, if you listen to the Dep Lewis Show, I need to complete a Zelda game at some point because I am a noob and I've never done so. So I thought about, creating a new Breath of the Wild file, and maybe I'll do so. I think that could be a good stream game to play and watch my journey through Breath of the Wild, and maybe get some help out there from people of the world because Lord knows I need it. I stink. But that's what I've been playing. I don't think I have any other video game updates for you, but thank you for listening to this first section. Please come check out the stream. I'm going to stream other random times just when I feel like it or have nothing else I want to be doing. So I'm going to try to take advantage of that a little bit more and play some games on the internet, and hopefully get some people to come watch, and then also come here and support the Dep Lewis Show each week. So going to have some great content out there in the world, I hope. And I hope you're going to enjoy it. So that's the end of the first section of the show. You're going to hear some lovely break music, and then we're going to come back to the midsection where I'm going to tell you what's going on around the video game world that you need to know. So see you right after this music. Welcome back to the midsection of Dep Lewis Show, episode 115. This is where I tell you about what's going on around the video game world that you need to know. And the first one we're going to talk about was a major PlayStation Network outage that happened. I think it started Friday afternoon, early Friday evening. I think it went for almost over 24 hours. They got it resolved at some point yesterday, and we're very mum. Mum was the word on what was going on with it. So people were having flashbacks to 2011 when it went down for 21 days, and were worried about getting hacked and all that kind of stuff. But they got this back up and running, within 24 hours. They didn't really say too much besides it was going through some scheduled maintenance when you would log in and you just weren't able to access things online. So this got everybody in a tizzy over the weekend, but I think is back up in order right now running. So PlayStation Network went down. I think they're giving everyone 5 days of PlayStation Network who is currently subscribed. So, nothing really too big to report there. I think I was trying to remember back in 2011 what they gave everybody, and I think they did give everyone like a $10 credit on the store, and they gave a couple games out kind of thing, a couple digital games. So I was hoping for something kind of similar, but maybe only being down for 24 hours was not worthy of more loot for us. But pretty big outage, not something that they want to have happen, and a lot of people were upset about this. So people were on there saying, hey, you should be playing on Xbox, saying, hey, what's going on with this? Hey, I can't access my digital stuff. So I think even some digital single player stuff was not working. I saw one person wasn't able to play Digital Metaphor. I was able to log in. I tried on my PlayStation 4. I was able to play Spyro digitally, so I don't know what the differences were there, but it does shock your system a little bit, or the world system a little bit, when you can't access your digital stuff, being able to re-download it, and it really kind of does make you think about having some physical discs and some physical media to combat these issues. But some of these games aren't even on the physical discs anymore, so it's a little bit of a moot point, but a little glimpse into some of the problems of the all-digital world here. But PlayStation Network is back up now, so hopefully it will continue running smoothly. So that's something that just kind of recently happened this week. Something else on the Sony side, of things. It is rumored that they're going to have a state of play in this upcoming week, and I think they're saying possibly on Valentine's Day, so that would be next Friday. If you're listening to this podcast in real time, maybe we're going to get a Sony state of play where they're going to outline what's going on with them this year. So I am a huge fan of having these conferences and shows and directs and state of plays and everything where they're giving us information. So if they have one, I'll definitely be talking about it next week on the show, and most likely doing a talk over video where you can see my reaction to what's going on with the state of play. So hopefully I'll have that to report on next week. So just want to put that on your radar out there in the world. Maybe we're going to get some information from Sony. Very exciting stuff. All right, what else do I have for you for news this week? I have a release that is out right now, and it's Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. And I was just watching the great streamer Rachel K playing this morning. So if you want to watch some Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, go watch Rachel K on Twitch and sub and subscribe and all that kind of good stuff. She's a really cool streamer. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, released on February 4th, 2025 for PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and Microsoft Windows. The developer is Warhorse Studios, publisher Deep Silver. $59.99 US for the standard edition, a thrilling, story-driven action RPG with a rich open world set in 15th century medieval Europe. Experience the ultimate medieval adventure through the eyes of a young Henry as you embark on a journey of epic proportions. So it is an open world. There's kind of different mechanics going on. The combat's a little more clunky. It's not like a real precise combat, so it just has its kind of own unique flair to it. There's some kind of wacky stuff going on around the world, like you can get drunk, and there's all these crazy wild characters and things like that. And watching Rachel K's stream today, she was on a mission. Yeah, they were all getting drunk, and she got arrested. She got arrested for her dog murdering somebody. So she was wondering why they were arresting her for murder, and it was actually her dog who committed the murder in this game. So just some kind of funny stuff going on, and she had to, pay a large sum of money or get branded. So there's some kind of funny, interesting mechanics going on in this game, kind of like Skyrim, but I would say even more immersive since this is a modern day game. So some pretty funny like songs and character stuff in this game, and just really an enjoyable thing, especially to watch. So that's what I've been doing with this game. I don't know if it's my apparent cup of tea to play myself, but I've been watching a good portion of the game and really been enjoying it. So want to bring that up here on the show. Go check out some Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. And I watched Rachel K stream some of the first one not too long ago too, and it looks like a good, if you want to save some cash, I would say maybe buy the first one and try it out and see if you like it. So I think it's pretty inexpensive. I think you can get the first one right now for under $10, $10 US, and it does look like there's a lot of the same trappings in the first game and the second one. It does look like the second one is just more fully fleshed out, a little bit graphically nicer, and just a little bit more modern. But you can definitely see the through line between the two games. I don't think they're completely opposite games, and I think if you wanted to try out something new at a low cost, I think getting Kingdom Come Deliverance 1 would be a good idea. So just putting that on your radar. I don't think it's ever been on my radar before. I don't think I ever knew anything about this game before seeing it streamed. So pretty cool thing to discover. So Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is out right now if you want to go play that. Another game coming out in the upcoming week, if you're listening in real time, and this game is already available right now if you paid the high dollar, I think it's $100 to get the early access, and that is to Sid Meier's Civilization 7. So this releases officially on February 11th, 2025 in the upcoming week for PS5 and 4, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, Steam Deck, Microsoft Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. Developers for Access Games, publisher 2K Games. And it's $69.99 US for the standard edition. Yeah, $99.99 US for the deluxe edition, and you can play that right now. The award-winning strategy game franchise returns with a revolutionary new chapter that empowers you to build the greatest empire the world has ever known. So, from what I've heard, it's been a little bit of a rocky launch in this pre-release stage. I guess some of the connectivity stuff has been wonky, and I don't know if it's been like kind of buggy or whatever, but I haven't heard the greatest things. But then I've also heard that that's generally how Civilization games launch, that they kind of get better over time. Maybe they're not like completely busted at the beginning, but it does take them some time to get going with more of these modern releases. I'm not really sure, but it is a little bit surprising and not hear just kind of glowing things about Civilization. You think they would have the formula down at this point. This is a classic franchise, and people go to this franchise for the things that they do. So it seems like that's kind of a layup. You just want to make a good modern version of it, maybe add some new wrinkles to it, but you don't really want to change up the formula too much. You just kind of want a really good running game with a lot of options and some cool interactions between things and different ways to win. And it's a little bit surprising that they are not executing on that, because I think they have always done so. So maybe proceed with a little bit of caution with Civ 7, but I think ultimately it's going to be a good game would be my guess. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to take a patch or an update or whatever it may be, or I don't know if it's good right out the jump. I haven't played it, but those are kind of the things I've been hearing about Civ 7. It's coming out in the upcoming week, so putting that on your radar. Something that I don't know if this has been confirmed, this next piece of news, but it seems like everybody and their brother on the internet was talking about this, so maybe there is some credence to it, and that is in regards to Metal Gear Solid Delta: The Snake Eater. This is going to be the remake of the 2004 game Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, and apparently the release date is leaked on PlayStation Network. So PlayStation Network having a heck of a week. This was before the outage. They apparently leaked the release date for Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater, and they're saying August 25th, 2025. So not too shocking of a release date. We kind of knew this game was coming out this year, or we had some confidence, I think, as video gamers, that we're going to get this game, and I think August is a reasonable date. So I hope they're going to hit that, and I hope this game is going to be cool, because I do have some fanfare for the Metal Gear Solid franchise. Metal Gear Solid 4 is one of my favorite games of all time. Surprising game that I've completed, and something that I really just hold a special place in my heart back there in the PS3 days. So Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater allegedly coming out on August 25th, 2025. And there might be some early access before that. It's going to be PS5 Pro Enhanced, they're saying. And like I said, this is a remake of Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater with the same gripping story and engrossing world, now with all new graphics and 3D audio that enhance the jungle atmosphere. Get ready for the ultimate survival stealth action experience. So this is probably a day one purchase for me when it comes out. And I think August would be a great time for a day one purchase of a video game, and something that I'm interested and excited to play. So this is one for the year. I talk about wanting to play retro stuff or backlog mainly this year, but this is one that I'm pointing to that I would like to buy. And I even mentioned in the first section there's a game that I'm thinking about picking up, and we haven't even talked about that one yet, so we're going to talk about that in just a bit. But Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater allegedly releasing on August 25th, 2025. So something else that happened this week was a Capcom Spotlight stream. I didn't actually end up watching this or doing a talk over, but I looked up some information from it, and I want to remind you about all. They talked about they talked about some video games And so I want to tell you about some of those video games to make you aware of what's going on. So the Capcom Spotlight stream, it took place on February 4th. The first part was around 20 minutes long, and then it was followed by a Monster Hunter Wilds showcase that was about 15 minutes long. So if you want to go watch the VOD of this, you can go check it out. I guess it's on Capcom's YouTube, so you can go watch this if you want to put eyes on the footage. But I'm going to tell you about everything that's going on in this Capcom Spotlight stream right now. So in this stream, they were touting you're going to get the latest info on Onimusha, Way of the Sword, Street Fighter 6, Capcom Fighting Collection 2, and Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection Arcade Classics. So that was everything they told us beforehand. They were pretty transparent here with what they're going to talk about, and then followed by a Monster Hunter Wilds showcase. And that is the game that I'm getting a little bit excited for to possibly pick up this year. So that is the spoiler from earlier. But starting off with Onimusha, Way of the Sword, not a game or a franchise I'm really too familiar with, but they're touting a 2026 release coming to PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and Microsoft Windows. In Onimusha, Way of the Sword, you are going to fight through the blood-stained battlefields of intense swordplay action. You're going to explore the historic Japanese capital of Edo-era Kyoto, twisted by malevolent clouds of malice, with every stage cloaked in mystery, danger, and intrigue. Battle against monstrosities from the underworld known as Genma. In a tale of dark fantasy, follow the tale of a samurai who wields the Oni Gauntlet, a mystical artifact that grants its bearer the power to slay Genma. Through gritty, blood-soaked brawls, he searches for his reason to fight. What fate awaits at the end of this path? You have to wait till 2026 when Onimusha, Way of the Sword releases. So, Onimusha, we're getting a lot of sword fighting games these days. You know, we have Ninja Gaiden coming back. We've had the huge emergence of the From Software games, and they are one of the top tier, S tier, echelon franchises and style of video games. So we're seeing some of these old sword fighting franchises coming back and putting their spin in the modern world, and I think it's a great time. I don't know if that's going to be the next big oversaturation of the market, kind of like with battle royales, and there's probably been a few even since then. But every game coming back to do hard, difficult sword fighting gameplay we could see an apex there. But I think this is cool. I'm excited about the Ninja Gaiden stuff. These aren't kind of my style games completely, but I definitely think they're cool looking. Things I like to dabble in, and I have the potential to get hooked on one at some point. So, possibly Onimusha, Way of the Sword in 2026. So we're going through the games that were talked about in the Capcom Spotlight stream. So the next bit of news from there is some more Onimusha news. And they are saying that Onimusha 2, Samurai's Destiny, is getting a remastered version this year. So a nice little, I think that's a great idea. Kind of doing the Ninja Gaiden trick here, giving something now and then a little bit later. So getting a remastered version in 2025 of Onimusha 2 Samurai's Destiny for PS5 and 4, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and Microsoft Windows. This game originally released on PlayStation in 2002. The character model of the main character is based on the late Yusaku Matsuda, a Japanese actor who became famous in the 80s. So a lot of Onimusha news. Alright, the next game they talked about in the Capcom Spotlight stream was Street Fighter 6, and they are adding a character to the game. And I don't know if the character's name is pronounced Mei or Mai, but it's Mei or Mai from Fatal Fury. And they are coming to the roster February 5th, 2025, so they are already on the roster right now. Fatal Fury is the King of Fighters' initial release was 1991. The latest release is Garou, Mark of the Wolves, that released in 1999. Fatal Fury is a fighting game series developed by SNK, first released on the Neo Geo. So some pretty classic stuff here. Mei or Mai is going to be the second to last Year 2 character following M. Bison and Terry, and then Elena will be the final character added. So a little bit of Street Fighter 6 news there. Still some characters being added to the game, and I think Mei or Mai, from what I saw, is a cool looking character. So I think that's a nice addition to Street Fighter 6. Alright, something everybody's anticipating out there in the world, every single person. The Capcom Fighting Collection 2. And the news here is that it now has an official release date, which will be May 16th, 2025 for PlayStation 5 and 4, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and Microsoft Windows. It's going to be $39.99 US for the standard edition. Capcom's new fighting collection hits the stage, choose from fan favorite games like Capcom vs. SNK 2, Mark of the Millennium 2001, and Project Justice, to add 3D action games like Power Stone and Power Stone 2 in this collection of 8 classic fighting games. So this is something I have the next game we're going to talk about. And I do have interest in picking up the Capcom Fighting Collection 1, and I have some interest in picking up this Capcom Fighting Collection 2. I think it's a great value. I think the cover art they do on these things are really cool. I think all the historical museum type stuff they do in the game is cool. I think just having the amount of games on one disc is needed. So I think there's a lot of cool stuff about these games, and I can see myself picking up more and more of these collection type things as the years go on as a good way to play retro games on a modern platform, and then hopefully be able to play them for a long time. So definitely something I'm interested in. And Capcom Fighting Collection 2 will release on May 16th, 2025. So another thing from the Capcom Spotlight stream, something I just kind of alluded to, is Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection Arcade Classics. That is a game that I picked up last year and I think is really, really cool. I picked it up on the Switch, and it was on PlayStation as well, but is now available on Xbox Series X and S and Xbox One. So that's the news here, and a very great day for people on the Xbox side of things who want to purchase Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection Arcade Classics. It looks like this one's originally $49.99 US, but it's on sale for $39.99 US for 9 more days if you're looking on the Xbox store digitally. I don't know if they're going to have physical copies of this coming. I kind of would assume they will, since they had them for PlayStation and Nintendo, but I think this game right now is just available digitally, and then maybe it's coming physically later in the future, but don't quote me on that. And in Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection Arcade Classics, you're going to jump into this collection of arcade classics from the fan favorite Marvel and Capcom crossover games. Dive into an action-packed lineup consisting of 7 unique titles, including heavy hitters like X-Men vs. Street Fighter and Marvel vs. Capcom 2 New Age of Heroes. The collection also includes the rare beat-em-up game The Punisher. So a really cool collection. Kind of all the same things I was saying about the Capcom Fighting Collection. I think it's just a really cool thing to own and have to play these retro games in a modern fashion. So very, very cool stuff. A lot of good fighting games in there. All right, the last thing from the Capcom Spotlight stream, they also had the section just for Monster Hunter Wilds, and this is a game that I'm getting a little more interested in. I watched the streamer Sarapods last night playing some of this, so I don't know if you can go pull up a VOD of her if you want to watch somebody playing some Monster Hunter Wilds, but there is an open beta test 2 going on right now, and I guess it ends today. So if you're listening in real time, you can still catch some today, and then there's going to be another one in I guess it's the upcoming week that's going to be released. So Monster Hunter Wilds is going to release on February 28th, 2025 for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and Microsoft Windows. There is an open beta test 2 that began this past week, February 6th through the 9th, which is today. Then they're going to have another one on February 13th through the 16th will be the next open beta test 2. So ahead of the game's full release on February 28th, they held an open beta test in November 2024 in response to requests from players who were unable to participate the first time or simply wish to play again. We've decided to hold a second open beta test, OBT2. We'll add some new content to enjoy as well as new bonuses for participating, which can be claimed in the full version. So the standard edition of Monster Hunter Wilds will be $69.99 US, so a full price game. It's developed and published by Capcom, and in this game, the unbridled force of nature runs wild and relentless, with environments transforming drastically from one moment to the next. This is a story of monsters and humans in their struggle to live in harmony in a world of duality. So some of the notes I've seen taken from this game is how graphically beautiful this game looks. The animations of the creatures in the world is top tier and really, really impressive. And some of the other things I've heard that this monster, I've never gotten into a Monster Hunter game. I've played a little bit of Monster Hunter Rise and enjoyed it. I've wanted to pick up World in the past. I think some of the 3DS stuff looks cool. So it's definitely a franchise I've had some interest in, but just nothing I've ever really sunk my teeth into. And some of the other things I've heard about this game, that it's especially fun playing with other people. So I don't know if that's a reality for me. I don't really know anybody who would be interested in playing Monster Hunter. So I don't know if that really diminishes the experience if you play it solo, but I'd say I'm a little bit halfway wanting to try this and thinking about picking it up on day one. So definitely interested. I think a lot of people are interested. I think it's going to be a huge release. I think it's going to be massively successful, and I think it's going to be, a really great video game for early in the year to, put on people's Game of the Year list. So I have some high hopes for this Monster Hunter Wilds. I don't know 100% if I'll be playing it, but I'll definitely be enjoying watching some people play, and then I am definitely in the area where I can be tempted to pick it up and try it myself. So Monster Hunter Wilds coming February 28th, 2025, and if you want to try some early, you can get into the open beta test 2. That begins, it's still going on today if you want to hop in, but then there's also one in the upcoming week from February 13th through the 16th, and that is 2025. All right, so that is everything about Monster Hunter Wilds, and that's everything from the Capcom Spotlight stream. And if you want to go watch that, just go check out YouTube, go and look for Capcom and you can watch that video. I think both sections combines around maybe 30 to 40 minutes, and you can actually see the footage from some of these games, so that might be worthwhile to do so. But that is everything from the show. And the last thing I want to talk about here in the midsection is just a topic that I'm going to have in the midsection until this happens, and that is the Nintendo Switch 2, where everyone's waiting on it. We want more Switch 2 details. There's rumors and speculations swirling around every week, and I'm here to bring them to you, verified or not. So what has happened this week? I think one of the rumors out there, I don't know if Nintendo's explicitly come out and said this, but they are going to try to combat the Switch 2 launch shortages. So I don't remember in 2017 if I was trying to buy a Switch on day one. I definitely didn't get one on day one, but I don't know if that was just because, I was trying to save my money or whatever it may be, or I wasn't able to get a pre-order. But I did get one. I think I got mine late in 2018 possibly is when I got the Switch. I think it was over a year before I got one. And then for the Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5, I was able to get an Xbox Series X on release date, and then it took me, I think, 2 years to get a PlayStation 5. So that's a little bit more of the shortage I'm remembering. I'm not really remembering one too bad with the Switch, but Xbox and PlayStation definitely had some pretty bad ones this last go around. So hopefully Nintendo Switch is going to be able to combat that. They have all the bots and scalpers and things like that trying to get there, but hopefully pre-orders are going to be semi-successful, because I would like to do one. So that's kind of my plan, is to pre-order this. It's something I've been waiting on for a long time, and I would definitely like to be in line to buy one of these Nintendo Switch 2 at MSRP and nothing higher than that. So they're saying they're trying to combat launch shortages, but that's something, we got to see it to believe it, and something that I guess is not completely in their control either. So just something that they're trying to control as best as they can, and I appreciate them saying that at least. So we know that another bit of news that came out this week actually is in regards to the April 4th Nintendo Switch 2 Direct. They've given us a time for the show. It's going to be 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, or 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So those are some U.S. time zones, but it's going to be early in the morning over here in the U.S., or not too early, but early. So they're going to give us the great information early in the day, and be able to talk about it all day and be interested and hype about it. So, whatever, I don't care what time it would be. I'm excited to watch it, and I'll definitely be doing a talk over and talking about that on the Dep Lewis Show. So what else have they done? They have also confirmed that Pokemon Legends Z through A and Metroid Prime 4 are still releasing in 2025 with no delay. So those are two games that they've announced last year, I believe, or Metroid Prime 4 has been announced for a long time. But I think Pokemon Legends Z through A was announced early last year, or might have been the year before. But they're saying these are both going to release in 2025, assuming they're going to be cross-platform on Switch 2 and Switch 1 is my guess. And they're going to be a little bit later in the year releases. So no firm dates, but they're saying they're still coming with no delays, so that is nice. I think Pokemon Legends Z through A is a day one purchase for me, and Metroid Prime is a series and franchise I'm trying to get into more at the moment. So possibly if I complete some games before then in the franchise, I'll be excited to pick up Metroid Prime for day one, because I am really trying to. So that's all the Nintendo Switch 2 rumors for this week. Nothing too much. I'm trying to think. So at least we know the time for the next Direct, but April 4th is still a couple months away. So we're going to have this slot in the midsection each week for any rumors or speculation I hear out there, or anything that's actually confirmed. So, you definitely want to listen to the Dep Lewis Show every week for all the best video game news you need to know. So that's going to wrap up the midsection of the show today for episode 115. All the news and video game information. We talked about PlayStation Network being down and being back up now. We talked about next week possibly having a Sony State of Play. We talked about Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is released right now. Civ 7 comes out in the upcoming week, or you can pay the early access to play it right now. Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater has an alleged release date of August 25th, 2025. We talked about the Capcom Spotlight stream and all the games talked about there. Onimusha Way of the Sword, Onimusha 2, Samurai's Destiny, Street Fighter 6, Capcom Fighting Collection 2, Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection Arcade Classics, and Monster Hunter Wilds. Then we talked about some Nintendo Switch 2 rumors and speculation out there in the world. So that is all the video game news I have for you this week. We have one final section of the show coming up after this music, and that is going to be the Miscellaneous Talk section, where I can talk about anything I want to outside the video game world. So that's all the video game talk for today. Please listen to this music and come back for some Miscellaneous Talk right after this. Welcome back to the final section of Dep Lewis Show, episode 115, the Miscellaneous Talk section, where I can talk about anything I want to outside the video game world. So I would like to get into the worldwide world of sports, as I always like to do, and especially on the Super Bowl Sunday. So that's the main news in the football world, that the Super Bowl is going on today. The Chiefs versus the Eagles, Patrick Mahomes versus Jalen Hurts. We got Saquon out there. We got Travis Kelce. We got T. Swift. We got some great defensive players. We got Chris Jones. We got Jalen Carter. We got A.J. Brown. We got Devontae Smith. We got all sorts of great stuff going on out there. So hopefully it's going to be a great Super Bowl. We got DeAndre Hopkins on the Chiefs side out there trying to get a ring after a long, great career. And then we have some money on the line for the Dep Lewis Show out there in the gambling world. So I'm going to make some money on either winner. But if the Chiefs win, I'm going to hit a little bit bigger. So I bet the Chiefs back in March when sports betting opened up in North Carolina. So I put some money on the Chiefs, I think around plus 600, something like that, and hopefully going to get a nice payday from the Chiefs, hitting a three-peat. So I just want to put that out there. I'm on the Chiefs side of things, and I would love them to win just for gambling purposes, and I have no other dog in the fight, really. So, I'm a Carolina Panthers fan. All I'm looking forward to there is next year and a J.C. Horn extension over the offseason. The Panthers have the 8th pick in the overall draft, and I think they have some good options there. And there's some talk about the Panthers possibly picking up a veteran wide receiver, maybe some Garrett Wilson, maybe some Cooper Kupp, maybe some DK Metcalf. And I even heard one podcast talking about them picking up Myles Garrett. So, most of those things I would be happy for. I think it's a little bit of la la land to expect some of that things. But, if Myles Garrett wants to come to the Panthers, I would help lay out the red carpet for him. He's an insanely good football player. But the Super Bowl is going on today, the last football game of the year. So we'll be waiting for a long time for some more football. And just hopefully it's going to be a great game. And then hopefully for gambling-wise, the Kansas City Chiefs are going to help out, you're just your friendly neighborhood podcaster over here. So go Chiefs. Please gamble responsibly. And I hope some of your parlays and futures will be hitting today. So go Chiefs, and then go Chris Jones. I put some money on him to win the MVP. So that's a little bit of a dark horse there too. So I just did that one the other day, going all in on the Chiefs. And hopefully Chris Jones is going to have, 3 sacks, maybe a forced fumble, maybe 7 or 8 tackles, something like that. Maybe a pick 6. I'm going to get that Super Bowl MVP and put some money in my video game pockets. Or money in my pockets for some video games. So go football, and that's all that's going on in the football world. And it's just going to be the offseason after today. So, congrats to the football season. And I will definitely report back next week on who won the Super Bowl. All right, let's get into the NBA. I have 2 teams. I live in North Carolina now, so I'm a pseudo fan of the Charlotte Hornets, and I'm a real fan of the Atlanta Hawks. And it was the trade deadline last week, and there were 3 kind of major trades between these teams, and I am not a fan of any of them. Or I was a fan of one of them. The Hornets made a trade that I was a fan of, and then late last night, the news reports that the trade has been rescinded, and Mark Williams did not pass his physical, allegedly, is what went on here, and the Hornets are having to ship Dalton Connect, Cam Reddish, and a first-round pick back to the Lakers. So that was the agreed-upon trade from the Hornets to the Lakers. The Lakers were getting their big man they wanted and needed on their team and getting a young guy, Mark Williams. And then the Hornets getting in return a recent rookie, or he's a rookie, Dalton Connect, Cam Reddish, who was a former Hawk, and a first-round pick. So it seemed like a great trade for both sides. It was giving the Lakers an immediate need with Mark Williams, and then giving the Hornets another rookie to grow around with the young guys on their team, like LaMelo and Brandon Miller. But this trade has been rescinded. It's pretty heartbreaking. Both teams have had to come out and say, hey, welcome back. We tried to trade you because they really wanted you. So it's kind of an offer we couldn't give up. And, welcome back. So I think even Dalton Connect was at shoot-around for the Hornets on Friday. So a pretty terrible thing there. And now the Lakers without a big man. I don't think this is a huge error for the Hornets because they're not really competing for much this year. But I think Dalton Connect would have been a good piece for the future. Not to say Mark Williams won't, but I think it's just awkward when you want to trade a guy. I think that's got to play into some psychology stuff there, and I think that is going to be a little bit of a burn bridge forever. And I don't really see how it can't be unless they can just come out with their pocketbooks. I guess some money can solve a lot of issues, but a little bit of an awkward thing there going on with the Hornets. So they made a trade. It got rescinded, so now their roster is pretty much the same. But Monday versus Washington, the Hornets lost 114-124. Wednesday versus Milwaukee, the Hornets lost 102-112. And then Friday versus San Antonio, the Hornets won 117-116. So pretty great game. They were very excited at the end. LaMelo he drove to the basket, garnered a lot of attention, kicked the ball out to Miles Bridges, who was wide open, and Miles Bridges hit the green in 2K on that shot and drained it perfectly. So It was a really, really exciting, great ending for the Hornets, and they've had a couple wins like this year. They haven't been able to translate it to continued success, but you can see flashes of this team working well together, and it's nice to see. And hopefully, they can continue growing and improving for the rest of the season. So the Hornets actually play today at Detroit at 1 p.m. So in just in a couple hours, if you're listening in real time, I might be watching some of that game today. And then next week, the Hornets are going to be playing Brooklyn, Orlando, Lakers, Denver, and Portland. So that's all the Hornets updates there. A trade that got rescinded and a couple losses and a good win against San Antonio. So go Hornets. And then my favorite NBA team, the Atlanta Hawks. I don't know what they're doing. I'm pretty down on them right now. They traded Bogdan Bogdanovic to the Clippers, so Bogey's gone. They traded DeAndre Hunter to the Cavs, so DeAndre's gone. And they didn't really get anything too quality in return. And no disrespect too much to those people. But I guess it's going to be some disrespect either way. But these were two guys that have been on the Hawks for a while. They've been good contributors. They're good wing players, and I can see why they would be coveted by other teams. So I don't understand why the Hawks want to give them up. The Hawks are just trying to, I don't know. I can't tell you what the Hawks are trying to do. I haven't understood any of their moves for a long time. Besides extending Jalen Johnson, they have Trae Young in this weird position, and I just think it's awkward. And it really, as a fan, it makes you a little more disinterested in what's going on with them. There's some players on the team. That's kind of the thing. I think I was mad. I was like being, mad on Twitter about it or X, and just more mad at the front office than the players. I'm a fan of the team, and I enjoy and respect all the players out there playing for the team for the most part. I mean, or for the part. That's the reason you watch it, for the players. And it's tough when you don't understand what's going on with some of these front office moves that these teams are making, and they'll rip your heart out. And they're ripping the heart out of some of these players on this team too. So it's a bad effect, and their decisions really do have a lot of weight and impact. And I think it is a little bit of a separate thing from the players. So I don't really want to boo the players, because I'm a fan of this team and I want to see them win, and I like the players, and that's the reason I watch. But you really want to boo these front office people making these decisions, and you don't have to always agree with them. But when you're consistently making bad move over bad move over bad move, and I think they're the problem. So rough stuff going on with the Hawks. Traded away some good wings. Didn't really get anything too crazy in return besides a bunch of second-round picks. So it's basically just kind of trying to, grab some future assets, maybe get some money off the books. It's not a win first move. That's my biggest gripe with it. This is a white flag from the front office. So this is not trying to make our team better right now. So that is my biggest gripe with it. That's a meaning, for no disrespect to any of these players coming over. But this is not a move the Hawks are, that anyone's looking at after the Hawks make it and saying, hey, this increases their title chances. This is what they're doing. What are they doing? Are they tanking? Are they trying to really sour Trae Young on staying in the city, or what are they doing here? So a big boo to the Hawks front office there, seemingly to me making some boneheaded decisions, and I don't appreciate it. But the Hawks beat Detroit on Monday, 132-130. Wednesday versus San Antonio, the Hawks lost 125 and 126. A pretty exciting game there, though. And then Friday versus Milwaukee, the Hawks won 115-110. Saturday at Washington, the Hawks won 125-111. So, a couple wins in there, which have been nice. And next week, the Hawks are playing Orlando, the Knicks, Orlando again, and Detroit. So, hopefully the Hawks will have a good week. It's basically the Trae Young show, as it should be. We got Okongwu out there wearing his headband. We need Jalen Johnson back, would be nice. Karis LeVert was playing out there. He had a headband on, so I appreciate that. Synergy and mojo going on with the team. Reese Ashea is out there, which has been a really great rookie for the Hawks, so there's some bright spots there. But I think the front office is, pissing me off, and I think it's pissing some of the players off too. So, get it together out there, Atlanta Hawks front office, and Hawks players. I appreciate you, and keep on balling out as best as you can. All right, my favorite team in the universe, the Atlanta Braves, in the MLB offseason right now. Nothing going on with them. Spring training begins. Man, it's not that far off. February 22nd, and then the first game of the regular season for the Atlanta Braves is at the Padres March 27th, 2025, in a 4-game series, followed by at the Dodgers, then home versus Miami, and then at the Phillies to start the season. So I can't wait for it. I'm excited, and there's really nothing to report in the offseason for the Braves besides I hope they are getting ready for spring training. I hope all the unhealthy, all the nagging injuries are just magically fixing themselves, and I hope everyone's going to be in the strongest, best condition they can be for the season and for the remainder of the entire season. That is my wish for the Atlanta Braves. No injuries, and just a season of tons of home runs, tons of strikeouts, tons of stolen bases, tons of excitement, and then holding up a World Series trophy at the end of it. So that's just a small hope for the Braves this season, and I can't wait for the baseball to get rolling. So the only other MLB news I have for you this week is Jack Flaherty has signed back to the Detroit Tigers, on a 2-year, $35 million contract. So very nice there for Jack Flaherty. He was with the Tigers early in the year last year and then got traded to the Dodgers and has now returned to the Tigers on a nice payday. So way to go, Jack Flaherty, the former Cards pitcher for a long time that's been moving around a little bit recently, but now he has found a 2-year home paying him $35 million. So good on him. The Tigers have made some pretty good moves and I think should be, a decent team. So that's nice to see up there for Detroit because they've been a little bit in the slumps for a while. They traded away some of their kind of up and rising players. Maybe some smart decisions were made there, but they're a little bit on the rebuild, maybe a little bit above a rebuild, and a nice addition to their squad. So I think most of the big MLB news is out of the way. So it should be a short drip or a slow drip for MLB news until the season gets started. But I will be here to report to you either way because I'm excited for it. So that's everything I have for you today in the sports section. We talked about the Super Bowl, the main thing going on today. Everyone out there cheer for the Chiefs for me so I can win some moolah. We talked about the Panthers. We talked about the Hornets, the Hawks, the Braves, and some MLB news in general. So the Hornets and Hawks really, really trolling this week with their trades. And I can't believe that one trade from the Hornets got rescinded. And I'm going to try to wipe the slate clean on my sports basketball sadness and go into next week with an open mind, an open, excited mind for the future, and really just see what these guys got to do. Watch the ballers ball, and that's what I'm going to be doing. So that's all the sports talk I have for you today. That's going to wrap up the Miscellaneous Talk section, and that's also going to wrap up the entire show, the entire Dep Lewis Show, episode 115. So you can go on about your day, and you have to wait till next week to come back for another Dep Lewis Show. So I want to reiterate some promotional talk from the beginning. Follow Dep Lewis Show everywhere. Full episodes of Dep Lewis Show available anywhere you can find a podcast. So find the best place to subscribe and listen weekly. Places like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, YouTube, Amazon Music, and more. It should be anywhere you can find a podcast. You can listen to this one. Twitch.tv/DepLewisShow is a great place to follow. I'm going to be streaming one night a week, guaranteed, and possibly more. So please check out Twitch. I think it's going to be Wednesday or Thursday night. It's going to be my streaming night. And then randomly I'm going to stream. So you just want to maybe put notifications on Twitch, or I will let you know on X/Twitter every time I'm streaming. So another good place to follow for that stream information. But I'm going to get a day set in stone, and you will be the first people to know because you are the greatest. If you'd like to support the show even further than just listening, patreon.com/DepLewisShow is available if you'd like to subscribe monthly. Also, Venmo at Dep Lewis Show is available any day, anytime, for any amount if you'd like to support the show. Thank you for listening. Hope you have a wonderful week out there in the world. I hope you enjoy watching the Super Bowl today. Hopefully you are going to a nice party of some kind, or you're just watching it at home, doing whatever you want to do. Hopefully you're going to be eating something good, possibly having a drink, possibly putting some money on the game and winning some. That would be nice. And then I hope you have an outstanding week in the world. I'm trying to think if there's anything special going on. I don't know. I think just a normal week in February, possibly getting some warmer weather out here in the world. And I hope your luck is on the way up. And I hope you have a great week in the world. And I hope you come back to listen to another episode of Dep Lewis Show next week, because that is where I'll be. And I will see you next time.